going on YouTube? Nathan back with another video presentation. I want to talk about Dwayne Haskins, as I said in that Mega Study video, which should have premiered by now. Dwayne Haskins, Monday afternoon, was cut from the Washington football team. Dwayne Haskins, 2019 15th overall pick. After, I have my notes here, after throwing 14 of 28 for 154 yards and 2 picks, and a passing rating of 36.9. Abysmal. Tucks his tail. Doesn't want to talk to the media, and bounces from the stadium. Now, this situation, what he did right there, was his writing on the wall. Listen, we all know who Ron Rivera is. Ron Rivera, especially when he's been through these last couple years with his cancer, with his cancer diagnosis, and the way that he has finished his chemo. God bless him. But we all know the kind of coach Ron Rivera is. Ron Rivera don't take no crap. The maturity of Dwayne Haskins goes back to when he was at Ohio State. You have to remember, his coach even said he has to mature. He was a red-shirted sophomore. You can see why he was passed on the first. I apologize for that. Someone interrupted trying to call me. Making a video and people calling me. My gosh. But anyway, when you look at the fact that Daniel Jones was 6th overall pick by the Giants, and everybody was so, particularly Giant fans. I remember that draft where they wanted this guy because essentially Dwayne Haskins is from Jersey. So everyone thought it was a match in heaven for them. But let me say this. The Giants made the right call. I mean, he made a video talking about how he spent his first $1 million. You hear fans who've seen him at the practice facility talk about the type of lifestyle he has. When you have a practice squad quarterback, I believe his name is Steven Hauskin, something like that. When you have a quarterback that's on the practice squad liking a tweet calling out your behavior, other people see that. Now again, granted, he had last year was different because last year, with Bruce Allen and once again, the dysfunction of the Washington football team organization, where they need to get Daniel Snyder removed as owner. He showed signs of leadership. I can't remember who they played specifically, but he was trying to pump up his offensive line. He was motivated. They were defeated. They essentially didn't want to hear what he had to say. So we know that he has shown moments of leadership, but particularly this year, particularly with COVID, and y'all know where I'm at with these athletes, particularly like, for example, back in June when I made a video on Kemar Silveran bringing a female into the practice facility to clap some cheeks. And here you have Dwayne Haskins inviting a friend, trying to get family into the hotel where the team was staying. With these athletes, this is what I'm talking about, the decision making. Dwayne Haskins knows good and damn well, particularly with COVID and the protocols. But not only that, wherever he was, whether it was at his house, from what I'm understanding, it was either his house or a strip club. No mask, and on top of that, you had all that booty, wherever it was. Particularly during COVID, the times that we're in right now was not smart. They took away his team captain privileges, which was smart, and they benched him for Alex Smith. Alex Smith got hurt, and then when he tried to come in for this game this past Sunday, and the way he played, forget it. This was icing on the cake for Ron Rivera. Now, I remember a few years ago, the Cardinals had drafted a defensive end. I can't remember his name, Robert in something. And I knew he wasn't going to last in the league because he bought a tiger. But you see, this is what I'm talking about, particularly when it comes to the NFL. They're drafting you on potential. And they're drafting you because it's a results-driven league. They care about winning. One screw up, they can find somebody to replace you. Case in point, Josh Gordon. How many chances do you continuously give a guy who we all know has a drug problem? He gets chance after chance after chance, and yet he continues to hurt himself. Maturity. So when we're looking at Dwayne Haskins, is his NFL career over? Absolutely not, because I believe he'll find another team. But the fact that as for Ron Rivera, to give up on this guy after a season just shows how much power he has in the organization. Because if you ask me, somebody should have fought for Dwayne Haskins. Someone should have said, well, you know what? You're done for the rest of the season. You're benched. Dwayne Haskins should have been fined and suspended for that. If y'all remember a few years ago, Vontae Davis, a cornerback for I want to say it was the Buffalo Bills, retired at halftime when they were getting their butt kicked. I can't remember who we were playing off the top of my head right now. But when he walked out, he retired at halftime and didn't tell anybody. That was icing on the cake. Because what that essentially says, you take the L and you take responsibility. Listen, you played like crap. You played terrible. But for you to just pack your stuff up and leave the stadium, that shows you right then and there, if you're an NFL executive and you need a quarterback for your team next season, right there, that's all you need to see. If I put Dwayne Haskins in a situation where I said, yo, you can be a potential starter for my team, how do I know you're not going to do what you did in Washington? But this situation right here, regardless, because they are in a division that is a walking piece of mediocrity. They have a chance to win the division with a subpar record. You had the Dallas Cowgirls beating the Eagles. You have the Washington football team getting embarrassed. You have the New York G-Men losing to the Ravens. Whatever happens, if they make the playoffs, then hindsight 2020. Okay, you know what? Well, it hides the fact that, you know what, they made the playoffs. But I knew going into this season, particularly with Ron Rivera coming in there, Dwayne Haskins, this is a good opportunity to prove himself because Ron Rivera brought his guy. I'm talking about Kyle Allen. The way they treated Cam in Carolina and Kyle Allen came in there, that was his guy. Dwayne Haskins had, to me, was on, had to prove himself. Now, I just want to pull up the stats for this season. He's played 7 games, he started 6. He's completed 61% of his passes. He's passed for over 1,439 yards. 5 TDs, 7 picks, a QBR of 73. He's been sacked 20 times. He's fumbled the ball 5 and lost the ball 3 times. Now, I'm going to leave another article in the description by The Ringer. Quote, "This afternoon I met with Dwayne and informed him that we would be releasing him," Ron Rivera, head coach, said in a statement. "I told him that I believe it benefits both parties that we go our separate ways. We want to thank Dwayne for his contribution to the last year's season and wish him well." Now, again, it just shows you the dysfunction of the Washington football team. But it also cements Ron Rivera's power. As if anything, you go, well, why would you give up on a guy after 1 season? 2 seasons. I can see he was there 5, 6, 7 years. Then you have a point. But does this hurt Dwayne Haskins in the short term? Yes. Because I don't know if an NFL team would take a chance on him. He's essentially in the same boat as Josh Rosen. Now, with his decision making off the field, that's an issue of itself. Because what he should have been doing is going out on that field and balling instead of worrying about his lifestyle. That's the problem with these athletes today. They're so, not all, but some, they're so worried about living a lifestyle instead of going out there and working, putting in the hard work, playing their behinds off from where there are guys who starve to be in that kind of position. They would kill to be a 15th overall pick. They would kill to be a starting quarterback, wide receiver. Most guys, there are guys who you hear that were so great in college, undrafted, and they have to prove themselves. But I will say this, like I said, Daniel Jones was the smart pick for the Giants. Was smart. And I don't want to hear anything about that. Because I hate to say it like this, but I compare these two, even though it may sound weird, Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. The year that they were drafted, most people would say, who would you have taken? Obviously, Ryan Leaf was the better quarterback. But maturity-wise, Peyton Manning. Look how that's worked out. Peyton Manning went to Indianapolis. Ryan Leaf went to San Diego. I need to say that's all I'm going to say right there. Oh, and on top of that, Ryan Leaf only has 4 wins as total with him as a starting quarterback. 4 wins. Where Peyton Manning is a 2-time Super Bowl champion and arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the game. But again, draft night, Peyton Manning or Ryan Leaf? Ryan Leaf. Because he was arguably the best quarterback in college at the time. But maturity-wise and more of a all-around type of player, it's Peyton Manning. When you look at Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins, everyone was like, well, who the hell is Daniel Jones? Look at him now. And Daniel Jones, the way he's been playing this year, even though I think that injury has messed them up, the Giants have something special going forward. Dwayne Haskins could have came in here and proved why he deserved to be drafted by the Giants. But they saw what most people saw, particularly when he was at Ohio State, maturity problems. I wish him well. I hope to see him back in the NFL, and I hope he gets his act together. But this was the right move for the Washington football team. And going forward, they need to figure out how to get Daniel Snyder removed as owner. Because he holds them back. It just shows you just how dysfunctional this franchise is as a football team. You still can't come up with a team name. He even talked about how he wanted to name the Washington Football Club. Get him out as order, y'all. Come on. I mean, he's not even on. I did a whole video talking about him. But for him, all he cares about is money, which most of these owners do. They don't care about winning. Look at the Detroit Lions, for example. And that's a whole different other video. But until they get him removed as owner, until someone says, yo, you need to really consider selling this team, Washington football teams should boycott the games. They should not even have them on TV. They should not be selling tickets. They should make their feelings known by ensuring that every time the Washington football team game comes on TV, there are absolutely no viewers. They do not deserve the support of these fans. Enough's enough. They are horrible. And they're getting worse. With that being said, I'm out. Peace. Stay up. But that video, my review of 2020, will be up Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning tops. I'm out. Peace. Stay up.